Hi guys, it's meteorologist Alexandra Cranford and your local weather expert forecast center getting you guys just what's going on with Invest 92L as of Monday evening. So not much has changed since earlier today. So if you joined us on our earlier newscast or Facebook Live, I'll just be going into a little bit more detail with what's going on tonight. And hopefully we'll be able to answer a few of your questions if you have any. Although I want to stress that it is a little ways out, so we don't know everything for certain just yet, but I will certainly let you know what I can. Our chance of development for what is Invest 92L is 30% in 2 days, 80% in 5 days, and development means becoming a depression or storm. Right now you can see where it is. It's low pressure over Georgia. There's a big high out to the south of us, and we're going to see the low drift southward into the Gulf of Mexico and then have a chance of developing. So here are the current stats on it. Remember, an Invest is not a depression, storm, hurricane. It is really nothing. It's just an area of interest, an area of investigation. That's what it's short for, that the National Hurricane Center is kind of eyeing for potential development and begins running computer models on it. So to show you guys the latest computer models, and I really want to stress also that these should definitely be taken lightly at this point, because obviously there are a lot of outliers. It's very early in the game. There is no low pressure over tropical waters right now. It's over land. So there's just a lot of factors that are showing that there is a lot of difference in the model runs, but notice that the kind of general trend may be for it to move into the Gulf and then kind of trek westward, maybe toward South Texas or possibly western Louisiana toward the end of the week. Potential local impacts for those of you who are interested in this. And I know this is really what we have on our minds in South Louisiana and coastal Mississippi. It looks like we could begin to see some rain and storms associated with this area of low pressure, maybe even by Wednesday. And then I would say particularly Thursday, Friday, and maybe wrapping up by Saturday. How much rain are we going to get? It looks like maybe up to 3 to 5 inches for some spots and possibly higher amounts of 5 to 8 inches right along the immediate coastline. And also another impact for those of you right along the coasts, maybe those east winds causing some coastal flooding, which we often see when we have activity in the Gulf. Sometimes it can push those waters up because of those sustained east-southeast winds, and it looks like the timing for that may be Thursday through Saturday. Looking at the different models, I wanted to show you what we may see. The Euro model, notice, tightens up that area of low pressure, and I've paused it here on Friday afternoon. It has the center of what might be Tropical Storm Barry by Friday afternoon south of our coastline. Then it brings it up to the northwest and possibly making landfall somewhere around the Texas-Louisiana border on very early Sunday morning, and then it continues it off to the northwest. So that is one solution, and these models come in a couple of times a day at least or more, so that could change for sure and likely will change as we get into this week. Here is a different model, the GFS. Notice it doesn't tighten it up quite so much. Doesn't really look like a hurricane or a really obvious tropical storm out there aside from the closed low that you can see. But it may actually, if this model did pan out, bring us more rain because it kind of hugs the coast a little bit more. And even though it's a less intense system, it may end up being a bit more of a rainmaker. Here's the upper level pattern, kind of the steering, thinking that we're heading into the middle and end of this week. A big high may kind of direct it out to the west and prevent it from turning northward a little bit farther to the east, closer to us. So we will see if that continues, but that's the thinking right now. Here are some rain amounts, and again, take these please with a grain of salt because these will change several times as we get close to the event. But the Euro, if it does keep that more intense system farther off our coast and then off to the west, really only has a couple of inches of rain for most of our spots. That's just one model run though. Notice how much more the GFS model has. It kept it a little messier, it kept us closer to the coast, but it also sends us more rain, possibly 3 to maybe 5 or so inches of rain. And again, maybe more along the coast that you may want to just be prepared for if you are along the coast. Notice our temperatures have been really high lately. It's still in the 90s at Kenner, even in the 7 o'clock hour, and that may change as we get into the next couple of days. I think Tuesday will still be a really hot day. We'll continue with this intense heat, but by Wednesday, with more cloud cover over us, kind of sent from that low and possibly some more rain, we may see our temperatures possibly only in the low 90s. Our average for this time of year is 91, so we may be close to that. And then toward the end of the week, if we do have that system to our south sending us some showers and thunderstorms, we possibly could see some highs, maybe only in the upper 80s getting toward the weekend. We need rain too, so some rain certainly would not be a bad thing for us. Of course, as we know, we don't need a lot of rain all at once, causing, flooding issues and so forth, but we should be able to handle, if it's somewhat spread out over a couple of days, should be able to handle at least a couple to maybe 3 or so, inches of rain. We might, be able to handle that without a big problem. So that'll do it for my quick little update here on Facebook Live. I'm going to look at some of your questions, and then we'll have a lot more coming up at 10. So let me load them here on our my Facebook page, and I will try to answer them. Tammy says, are we looking at tornadoes? Tammy, if we have it making landfall, sometimes you can get little spin-up tornadoes with that, but we're not anticipating it making landfall on our area right now. So we will see, but I wouldn't say that that's a huge concern at this point. Tammy, let's see. We need rain. Yes, indeed. Some people are saying, yeah, I mean, a good point. I'm seeing someone saying that there is uncertainty. Certainly it will. Oh, Dolly's asking about the algae in Mississippi. I spoke with our reporter Paul Murphy today, and he did a big story on this. You can probably find it on our website, WWLTV.com. And he says, here's the thing with the algae. Talk to biologists and fishermen, and a small tropical storm would break up the algae and kind of act like a blender. So it would be a good thing to combat the algae, actually. Also, it might bring, if we have those east winds, it may bring in some salt water from the Gulf. So he was saying that might be good for oyster fishermen and so forth. So that could be something positive. So we will see whether that happens or not, but it does look like it could help with the algae situation if there is a little tropical system out there south of our coastline. Let me see what else. Some of you are talking about different spots. Some people are saying, yes, bring on the rain. Tired of watering the grass. I know. We certainly could use the rain. People are telling me every day, my crops aren't doing well. My garden is dying. My lawn is dying. I know it. We need rain. Hopefully not a lot at all at once. If you're in Venice, Emmett, outside of levee protection, should you be worried? Emmett, I would definitely just pay attention to the forecast the next few days. It's looking okay right now, I would say, but things can definitely change. Please keep in mind this low pressure area. You can see the X is where it's located. It's still over land, so still a lot of time here, really another day or two before it even gets into the Gulf, and then we will be talking, and have a better idea. But just kind of keep your eye on the forecast, I would say, if you're in Venice, and watch for a little bit of coastal flooding, like we get when we have these tropical systems in the Gulf sometimes, and also possibly some heavy rain. So 5 to 8 inches, that seems like a lot, and I showed you the models aren't showing quite as much of that right now, but it will be possible. Jacqueline asks, when will it start in NOLA? I have our rain chance going up on Wednesday to 50%, but that's going to be sort of pre-storm rain. It'll be associated with it, but it may not be a tropical storm at that point. Thursday through Saturday, I'm showing the 7-day forecast now. That's really the time frame for New Orleans, for the North Shore, and really for most of our coastal spots too, that we will be watching for any potential impacts and the showers and storms. I saw a comment go up really quickly that someone is heading to Grand Isle this weekend. I don't know. Saturday, there's a pretty decent chance for rain. Even Friday, I think by Sunday we might be all right. That would be the 40% you see is more just like a regular scattered shower and storm scenario by then for us, perhaps. So just hard to say. I try not to say either, definitely telling people what to do or what not to do. There's just still a lot of uncertainty at this point. So good luck to you, and sorry I can't help more at this point, but we'll have some rain in the area, it looks like, by that point. Craig asks, when it gets into the Gulf, will it move out quickly? Craig, it may stay in the Gulf, but I think it's going to be on the move. So it's not going to just pull up, it looks like, near our coastline and just hang out, dumping rain on us. So it'll be there probably from Wednesday. Well, it'll enter the Gulf, I think, Wednesday. It may increase in intensity possibly into Thursday and Friday. And then I think it'll be out of the Gulf. Actually, the Euro has it making a landfall maybe near Galveston by Saturday night. And then the GFS has it right now has a landfall. You saw it kind of near Houston Saturday afternoon. So it might just be those three days for the most part, entering it Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday it'll be possibly, making landfall. Let me see. Oh, if you're asking about specific parishes, right now we're kind of all looking the same. I would say at this point, maybe we're looking at maybe 2 to 5 or so inches for many of our spots, possibly more along the coast, and maybe a little less north of the lake. So I understand for sure you guys want to know about your individual cities, but right now it's just a little too far out to say exactly what will happen for different cities. But let's see. Can you show the model path again? Yeah, Gina, let me see. Let's see, I guess I can show the computer models if that's what you'd like to see. There is no official forecast path from the National Hurricane Center yet because it's not a named storm yet. So that will probably be coming out in the next few days, once it's named. But these are the general computer models. So they kind of look like a mess. The nickname, of course, is spaghetti models, and it really does kind of look like that a little bit. But if you can see the general trend is across the Gulf and over to the west. Let me see. Craig asks, do you think it will move toward Texas? It's possible. It may continue. Yeah, you're saying, guess you just answered it. I showed the steering pattern a little while ago where the high is to the north. So it looks like it may kind of direct it off to the west and then eventually curving to the northwest. Let's see. What other? Okay, people are telling me where you guys are. Thanks for showing me where you guys are joining us from. What are the chances it will hit New Orleans as a Hurricane Barry with the percentage chance? I'm sorry, it's just, can't really answer that perfectly. It doesn't look like it'll hit New Orleans at this point. The spaghetti models are bringing it farther out to the west. So that's just difficult to say right now, but it doesn't look likely, let's say that. Will it affect tides more by moving to the west of us? Neil, possibly yes. It may cause a bit of that coastal flooding that we see where the tides are sort of intensified by a couple of feet maybe because of those sustained east winds. Let me see. Pensacola have a beach trip planned. Stephanie, it's looking somewhat similar over for Pensacola. For our area, I showed you the rain chances, and those will be ending maybe a little earlier off to the east because maybe even by Saturday, it'll be more toward the southwest of us. So there could still be some showers and thunderstorms over toward that part of the Gulf Coast, but it'll be more, I think, possibly off to the west by Saturday. By Friday, maybe still kind of on the edge. So we'll update you with that as we get a little closer. Let me see. Tomorrow, different models. Absolutely, Todd. You were absolutely right about that. I'm showing you the information that we have right now, and these are the current model runs. They can definitely change, and they will change because we're talking about low pressure that's, as I've mentioned, not even over coastal or not even over Gulf waters yet. This is the low pressure area. It's over Georgia right now. So absolutely, there will be different scenarios. This is how it's looking right now, and just looking at the synoptic pattern and what we're seeing later in the week, this is our best idea at this point, but certainly there will be changes, and we will obviously be watching really close and getting you guys more on that. Let's see. Stacy asks, is there a garage sale Saturday? Will it be a washout? Saturday, I do have decent rain chances, Stacy. I have about 60% right now. So we will see. It kind of depends on the different model runs, whether, it tracks closer to us like the GFS had and brings us some pretty decent rain, or whether it stays a little farther to the south like the Euro had with a stronger area of tropical activity, but farther away from us, which might bring our rain chances down a bit. So for now, I have 60% on Saturday. And yes, Douglas, it's not going to form over land, but you're right. It is weird for the low pressure, the initial low pressure, to be over land. Usually we're pointing out something going on maybe in the Bay of Campeche or over in the Caribbean Sea, or, sometimes we're looking all the way out off the coast of Africa for those waves that come off the coast of Africa and move across the ocean. So certainly it is a little bit unusual. But the system will not form over land. It will form once it gets into the Gulf. Colleen says, when will that high move? It looks like it'll retreat a little bit heading into the end of the week by the weekend, but it will probably still be prevalent enough, it looks like, at this point to affect it like that. And Let's see. I guess that's about all I'm seeing right now. I can only see a few of these at a time, by the way, when I pull up this Facebook post. So if I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry, and I will try to see it next time, hopefully. So that'll do it for now, guys. I always love doing these Facebook Lives with you because I get to see what you guys are interested in knowing and what your questions are and where you're reporting from and watching from. So thanks for this time with you guys, and I hope you have a good night. We will have a lot more updates coming up at 10 p.m. I'll give you the latest as what as far as what we're seeing tonight, and of course many more updates coming up in the next few days, and we'll know a lot more as we get to the middle of the week, especially once this actually emerges in the Gulf of Mexico. So that'll do it for now. Take care. We'll have more updates at WWLTV.com at 10 o'clock and here on Facebook.